A lot of losers are going to be out of work very soon. You guys know how much I load food delivery drivers. I'm not a big fan of Uber drivers or Lyft drivers either. You know, they're so entitled, these gig workers. I don't really like gig workers. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with working gigs. I think that the gig economy was a great thing when it first came about, but I predicted that it was going to become oversaturated very quickly, and then we were going to soon move beyond the gig economy to the creator economy. And that's where we're entering right now, where every person will have to be able to create value for others without being able to rely on someone else to give them a job and do the work for them up front. This means a 9-to-5 job. This means being able to, hop on an app like Uber or Uber Eats, or, and drive a car and pick someone up and make money that way, or deliver food. That's coming to an end because those jobs are becoming oversaturated. We can see that happening even in China, where at this point, people cannot get jobs doing that anymore. You either have to know someone, bribe someone, or know someone that knows someone and then bribe that person. So it's getting very, very bad. And these countries often parallel one another. Well, now guess what? We've heard about these driverless taxis for years, and they're actually on the streets now for people who are living in San Francisco and soon to be Los Angeles. These vehicles will actually be driving around. People are using them, and the reviews are actually very solid. In some cases, there have been like a case or two where they get pulled over by a police officer because they said it was driving erratically, but the reality is that it's still much safer, more often than not, than a typical Uber driver or a typical Lyft driver. The technology is getting a lot better, and it has come very far over the last couple of years. In terms of the pricing, we're going to jump into a video in momentarily, but in terms of the pricing for these vehicles, they're about the same as your Uber, as an normal Uber with a driver would cost you, or a Lyft with a driver would cost you. The main reasons why people are really enjoying this is because of the added convenience. One, when you order a Lyft or you order an Uber, you don't actually know what kind of vehicle you're going to get, or if you want a comfortable, bigger vehicle, you're going to have to pay extra for that. In the case of these vehicles, they're all SUVs, so you know exactly what you're getting. So that's the equivalent. You're paying the same amount of money that you would pay on Uber or Lyft, but always getting what would amount to a luxury or comfortable vehicle. So it's the equivalent of Uber Comfort all the time. So you're getting that cost about the same, and it's just much better. You always know what you're going to get. You're not going to be in a little sardine can. The vehicles are always brand new. They're clean, leather interior. And on top of that, the added benefit is that you don't have to tip. So you don't have to tip the driver. You don't have to do any tipping whatsoever. That is a very, very big deal. And it's not far-fetched to say that very soon our food could be delivered from these vehicles as well, where someone will put the food in the driverless vehicle, and the driverless vehicle, will drive it over to us. We'll go over there, we'll open the door, and, we'll scan it, and we'll take our food, and that's it. And this is one way that it could actually work, and it will cut the middleman out completely. So you don't have to tip these people anymore. And that's a massive factor. So we're going to jump into a video. We're going to look at how the technology is working, and then we're going to look at more at how people are reflecting on this, because this is a huge wave. And as a result of this, a lot of these losers that are driving for Uber, driving for Lyft, doing DoorDash or Uber Eats, they're not going to have work very soon, especially when the next economic downturn arises. We're already in a bad economy, but when it's very, very obvious and everyone's like the sky is falling and people are pulling back, that's when these companies are going to use the opportunity to really push AI forward and these vehicles. Right now, Uber actually has, Google, who owns Waymo, that's the name of the company, it has about 700 of these vehicles on the roads already, but they're going to be expanding rapidly, and 700 is a lot. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Self-driving taxi service called Waymo is coming to Los Angeles.
The service already up and running in San Francisco. Rich DeMuro takes us for a ride in one of the cars in today's TechSmart.
So I'm here in San Francisco where Waymo has fully autonomous cars picking up people and dropping them off just like a taxi, except the big difference is there's no driver. We got to try this out. The way you do this is kind of like any other rideshare. You open up the app, 555 Laguna Street, $9. It says I'll see you in 8 minutes. The ride is about $9. While we wait for this, I'll tell you about the car that's gonna pick me up. It's a Jaguar I-Pace all-electric car. For safety reasons, the cars stop in certain areas to pick you up, and so on your app, it'll tell you I should walk 90 feet ahead to where it's safe to pick me up. So there's the car. Oh, that's so cool. You use your phone to unlock the car, then you can open the trunk, put your stuff in the back, and let's go in. Oh, this is so wild. Here we are inside the self-driving car. It says, good afternoon, start ride, and I see my destination right there. And I even have a place to charge my phone. All right, to start the ride, here we go.
Heading to Ben & Jerry's. Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened. For any questions, press the call support button to speak with a rider support agent.
It's cruising the street just like a regular driver would. We're actually passing another Waymo. Do they honk to each other? And I love that you see the map on the screen here. What's really interesting is that this car is very sure of itself. It's not like creeping along the streets. It's driving like a real human would, so you feel like it's confident about what it's doing. The best part is watching the wheel move all by itself.
Proceeding on Waller Street.
You've got your map view, your music, oh, your temperature. You can even adjust the temperature. Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, here we go. We got a truck that's in our lane and we're just going around it. No big deal. So how's your day going? Oh wait, I forgot. If you're sitting where I'm sitting, you really wouldn't even know there's not a person in the seat in front of you driving.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting and don't forget any items in the trunk.
Okay, that was a pretty neat experience. I've been in lots of cars where there's a driver. Even without a driver, it felt safe, it was fun. The Waymo handled these streets with ease and even opened the trunk for me. Pretty neat. In San Francisco, I'm Rich DeMuro, and you are Tech Smart.
Now, something I want to point out for you guys is I want you to look at the trunk, okay? So remember what I said, how this is how your food could end up being delivered? You said it even opened the trunk for me, right? So you have the trunk right there, and that's a pretty spacious trunk. It probably would not take an insane amount of work to change things in just such a way. Look at that. That's a spacey trunk. It probably would not take a lot to change things in such a way where, you know, they can automate it to the point that they have a machine set up back there. There are different compartments with food for different people. And the trunk would just open up, or they can fix it in such a way that a window would slide open. They can definitely refit it in a completely different way to make it easier to open. And people would just go there, take their food out, and that's it. So you would not even have to deal with a person. You would just go to the side of the road, pick your food up, walk back inside. And that would work very well for a lot of people. It completely cut out the middleman. You'd still end up paying the same amount you're likely paying on the apps to get your food. However, you would not have to deal with a person. You wouldn't have to deal with a person, okay? Another human being. And you wouldn't have to tip them. So none of this tipflation. None of this tipflation. And I could see, like, this is kind of what these companies are leveraging right now. They're basically leveraging it like, okay, well, if you switch over to this service, your food's not going to be cheaper. You know, we're going to keep those profits for ourselves, but you're not going to have to tip these people anymore. So, you know, that extortion that you're paying, you're not going to have to pay that anymore. You're not going to have to pay that extortion anymore. How many people do you think are going to say, yeah, I'll just take this? And there's a lot of people who are watching my video right now that are going to say, oh, no, I would never use this. I will always pay for a driver. I don't care, angry. I don't know. That's fine. That's on you. But a lot of people don't want to tip anymore. And when you can get a vehicle very quickly, you know it's always going to be clean. You know that the company, you know, you don't have to worry about going back and forth with the driver, any of this other nonsense. You know, you can basically prove and say, hey, this happened in the vehicle, or there was an issue, or this and that. It's a whole different story. It's a whole different story. I think that this is going to alleviate a lot of stress for a lot of people, and it will solve a lot of problems. But these losers that do these jobs, they won't have these jobs anymore. You know, these losers won't have these jobs anymore. Like, this is the end of it for them. They won't have these jobs anymore. They're going to be put out of work. If we look at, like, you know, at an article that was just published about this, was published on July 7, 2024, discussing the Waymo taxi service. So this article just came out. Waymo's robo-taxis are better than some San Francisco drivers. Holy cow. Better than some. Check that out. And many of you know it's damn true. All right. You've got guys like Kel's Cat or something. That's a homeless African-American man that makes content on YouTube and has been criticizing men walking away and the Passport Kings for a while now. He's a homeless guy who's been living, who drives for Uber, and he's been homeless for a number of years. He's been one of our greatest critics, but he won't be working. You know, he won't be working anymore. This is going to take his work away. It's going to take his little Uber money away. You know, but I mean, all he does is drink that money out anyway, so it's not even a big deal. Because he's always making videos where he's crying. He gets drunk and he starts crying on stream about the Passport Kings and the men walking away. It's like he wants one, but whatever. So Waymo's autonomous robo-taxis were made available to the public in San Francisco last week. And this person said, I made 2 trips across the city during peak hours. Aside from a few minor hesitations, Waymo's autonomous driver offered a smooth rider experience. I want you to think about Gen Z also. And it's not just Gen Z. It's a lot of millennials are absolutely like this. But think about Gen Z also. Gen Z will absolutely prefer this over actually having to have a normal human interaction with someone. A lot of people, especially how society is today, a lot of people will choose this. Even, oh my gosh, it's so risky, I'll never do it. Gen Z will hop into these things right away. Their brain, you know, they don't really think. So they're going to, and they're not getting driver's licenses. So this is basically for them. All right. Then there are the millennials who are also tired of, you know, they're a tech savvy generation. Okay. They're going to hop into these things too. And then after that, there's Gen X. A lot of Gen Xers. It's going to be a mixed bag with Gen X. A lot of Gen Xers are going to adopt to this very quickly, while others are going to say that, nah, they'll just do it the other way around. But it varies. When it comes to the boomers, a lot of the boomers will be holdouts because they'll basically see this new technology as some type of cosmic voodoo, or what's another way of putting that? Silicon Valley voodoo, and they'll swear it off. But even some of them, especially the ones who are brokies right now, will ultimately end up opting for this. So this is really where things are headed, and they're going to roll this out rapidly. I truly believe the next time we have a major economic downturn, that's where they're going to jump in and say, this is a great alternative, especially as people are pulling back. So Waymo, Alphabet's autonomous taxi cab company. So Alphabet is Google. That's the name of the parent company that owns Google, is now available to the public in San Francisco, a culmination of more than a decade of testing and wading through regulatory hoops. They've been working on it for a long time. About 300 cars are operating in the city. The company has about 700 robo-taxis in total. I did tell you about that. 300 are operating in the city of San Francisco already, but they have 700 of these in total, most in San Francisco and Phoenix. But Waymo's spokesperson told Business Insider there are plans to expand access to the public in Los Angeles and Austin. So that would be Austin, Texas. Massive, guys, this is crazy. I took 2 rides on June 27 to and from the financial district of San Francisco during peak morning commute hours. My verdict, Waymo's autonomous driver is pretty damn smart. And aside from a few hesitations, the robotaxi offers a a smooth, comfortable experience with a competitive pricing against the ride-hailing apps. Here's how the rides went. Hailing a ride. So set a unique car ID. So BI. Okay. So, and then they put in their trip. So there we go. And so just like, and it shows you the price right there, $24.19. The user experience of Waymo's app is straightforward and similar to that of other ride-sharing apps. You pick a destination and adjust the pickup location as needed. Very, very cool. And then for now, Waymo's robotaxi fleet is limited to the all-electric Jaguar I-Pace SUV. So they're all SUVs, which have a maximum of 4 seats. There are no other options. A Waymo spokesperson told BI that the company plans to add the Geely Zeekrs, an all-electric van, a van, to its fleet when it rolls out the 6th generation autonomous driver software. So they have a new generation coming. The van will have 5 seats. A neat feature of Waymo's cars is that riders can set a unique vehicle ID or initial that appears on top of the car. This will make your ride more easily identifiable, especially since all of Waymo's cars look the same for now. So you'll be able to quickly figure out which vehicle is yours with the ID system. Of course, my guess is you're still going to want to check the license plate just in case, because you may have a situation where people put the exact same ID and that could screw you up. But I think in most cases, you'll be absolutely fine. Okay? If you're in a place where, in a place where a lot of people are taking taxis at the same time, picking up Ubers at the same time, because that does happen. When I used to travel, there were places like that, especially let's say the airport or public hubs. Then you could run into a little bit of trouble, and you'll need to still check the license plate. But beyond that, you should be absolutely okay. You should be absolutely okay, I think. So I think that's really, really cool. And it's something that we can really look for. Now, some of you are probably like, well, what happens when something goes wrong? Let's go ahead and jump into another video, because in one situation, this happened recently, a Waymo car was actually pulled over by police and said that it had been going, it had been behaving a little bit strange. And we can actually see what happens. This actually happened on June 19, 2024. So it very, very recent. It just happened. And we can see how the police interacted with it and what their thoughts are about the technology. And I think many of you might be surprised.
31 Adam for as well?
No, can you show me out at 7th Ave and Osborne? I got a unmanned vehicle that was kind of taken off from me. It's a Waymo car.
It's not every day you see a Phoenix police officer pulling over a driverless car.
Hi!
But that's what happened June 19th after the officer observed a Waymo going haywire in traffic.
I couldn't help but come over, just out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there's a passenger or something.
No, the construction here?
Yeah.
It was eastbound in the westbound lanes.
Oh!
Which is real bad. Yeah. And then, so I light it up, and then it takes off through the intersection.
While most Waymo cars can be seen throughout the city driving safely and behaving civilly, erratic driving is not completely out of the question for the artificial intelligence.
It was making a right onto Washington. Almost hit me. I had to swerve into the fast lane.
Phil Briggs says Tuesday he nearly got sideswiped by a Waymo on a mission with no regard for the car surrounding it.
My son saw an accident. We've seen him dead in the water in the middle of the intersection. So it's just, I don't see any good from it at all.
I reached out to Waymo to find out more about the potential for errors in their cars. Waymo sent me a statement, and they said Waymos are much better drivers than humans and 3.5 times more likely to avoid injury-causing crashes.
So your car here drove into oncoming lanes of traffic.
In the case last month, Waymo says the construction signage on 7th and Osborne was inconsistent, and because the officer blocked the car, it had to impede oncoming traffic. But the whole ordeal only lasted 1 minute.
If you or I are driving like that and we get pulled over, we get a ticket. So somebody needs to be held accountable.
Phoenix police say they are able to cite Waymo, but it's not something they see or do often. Officers, though, are provided training to deal with robot-operated cars. Waymo cars are also able to detect an emergency vehicle and program to safely pull over on the side of the road.
Waymo also makes it very easy for law enforcement to simply press the help button on the inside of the car and get connected immediately to a 24/7 service member that will be able to talk them through moving the vehicle off the road, finding the insurance information, or whatever information that the officer needs for their investigation.
All right, officer. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. Good luck.
The trouble. Okay?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Take care. Yep.
Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 10 News.
So one of the things I find really interesting about this, guys, is the prospects of how this technology will affect everyone in the future, not just in terms of being able to use these cars to avoid having to tip and having a better experience overall, but also how these cars, this technology will be used in personal vehicle ownership. Imagine, for example, that you have a self-driving car and you want to use the feature that will allow you to have it drive you home, right? My guess, and this is just my guess, is how this will work, is that it will have a system in place. You'll probably need a subscription, all right? You'll probably need this. You'll probably need a subscription for this, which will allow you to avoid having to sit in the driver's seat, and it will connect to a person who will be available 24 hours a day in case there is an accident or anything happens. They'll have maybe something set up with AAA or whatever, just like how they have it set up with Google, and different car companies will offer it in different ways. My guess is that Google will start to possibly license some of the self-driving technology to other car manufacturers and give them access to the Waymo network. So if something happens, their self-driving cars can use that network, and someone from the company will come and have a look. But again, this is what I foresee happening. This could prevent a lot of situations with drunk driving, or not a lot of situations with drunk driving, or, for example, you're just tired, you don't feel like driving at all, so you don't even get behind the wheel of the car. You sit in the passenger seat, or you sit in the rear, you sit in the back seat of the car, and the car basically is now driving you home. And there's someone who is actually, like, you know, it could be very close by or wherever, it doesn't matter, and they're monitoring the vehicle at all times. So if something does go wrong, they can possibly stick and speak to you while you're in the car. Some people are like, oh, I don't want that kind of experience. Again, it may not be for you, but for a lot of people, it would be very, very cool. The idea of being able to get into your car, sit in the back seat, watch Dragon Ball Z while your car is driving you home. That is such a luxurious experience, basically having your own robo-taxi, that it's crazy. Another very important thing to consider is, and this is something that Elon Musk actually talked about doing, is the idea of being able to rent out your vehicle to Tesla. So like, you know, when you're not using your car, let's say it's nighttime, you're not using your vehicle or whatever, your vehicle, you know, Tesla can use your vehicle to usher people back and forth, and you would make money for that. So it's a very intriguing concept, because what they're doing is they're offloading. You're basically paying for the car, and when you're not using it, the car is making you money. Guys, this is crazy. This is crazy. And this is one way that these companies could really, that like a company like Tesla could really make could challenge others. Because, for example, the car costs money to make. The companies don't have unlimited amounts of money, you know, but if you have consumers that are purchasing these vehicles, using these vehicles for themselves, and most of the time you're not in your car. Most of us are not in our cars for most of the time. We're in our cars maybe 1 to 2 hours a day, if even that. So if you can purchase your car and just and then, you know, you're chilling at home, and you allow it to be taken out and used between when you're not at home, even if it's making you $2 or $3 an hour, right? Or $30 a day. Guys, that's money. For a lot of us, that's money. All right. And it's going to make more than that, okay? Because if it's, you know, for example, they're using your vehicle and you're basically getting a cut of that, realistically, you'd likely be getting something closer to what current Uber drivers are getting. Or, you know, maybe not as much, but let's say half of that. But if your vehicle is, again, if this vehicle is making you like $40, $50, or in some cases, or let's say $100 a day, and you're just chilling at home, guys, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. Okay, that's disposable income. And a lot of men will start doing this, guys. So these things are going to replace the gig economy. And a lot of the losers that are driving, they're not going to be able to purchase these cars themselves. They're all renting these vehicles. So forget about it. They're not going to be able to purchase them. And it wouldn't be enough money for them. For like the average man, though, that has an actual job, this is incredible because this is just extra income. Okay? This is just extra income, bro. So the gap between rich and poor is going to get wider. And, you know, there's a lot of Gen Zers who are like, you know, they're going to poop in my yard. It's like, you know, bro, it's all good because I'll hire a security company. I will hire a security company like Mayumi's husband. I'll hire a security company like these people. And, you know, things, you know, there'll be cameras. And, you know, I'm just saying, you know, mess around, find out. Mess around, find out. I'm just being real. Absolutely real. Mess around, find out. Mess around, find out. And they'll treat my property like it's their property. And, you know, you say you're going to come poop on my lawn. Good luck, bro. Good luck, little bro. Good luck, okay? God bless you. God bless you because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. If you come and mess around, you're going to find out. So I'm celebrating this. And like I said, it's very easy to see that these devices being retrofitted to serve as delivery vehicles, where the person at the restaurant just loads the food into the vehicle, it delivers it to you, and you don't have to tip, and that's it. And the gig economy begins to fall apart. And to make things even more intriguing, a lot of self-service restaurants that do pick up, like that do takeout, so you know you can go to the restaurant and pick up the food for yourself. Where things get very intriguing now is there's not a lot of reason for these companies, for these restaurants, to not just use the service as well. Just walk the food out to the car, put it in the car, and the food will bring it to the person. Okay? And you won't have to, and you know, it won't cost it makes so much more sense. It really opens up a lot of doors. And so a lot of those people who work at these restaurants, they're going to be so pissed off as well. So instead of the customer coming in to pick up the food and, you know, they would get it, and then them demanding that you tip them, even though it's a pickup order. Goodbye, because the food has to be walked to the car. Bring the food to the car, load it up in the car, and that's it. And now you don't have to argue with anyone. Okay, technology for the win. A lot of these jobs are going to become a thing of the past, because more people are going to say, yeah, I'm not going to go and put up with one of these entitled people. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to deal with these people who are so entitled and think they're always entitled to a tip, 18% minimum tips. Like, get the heck out of here, you know, especially with food costing as much as it does. No, I'm not going to eat there. I won't eat there. And it's going to screw a lot of it up. So I'm feeling good, guys. I'm feeling very, very good about this. You know, knowing that a lot of these people, they won't be able to have these jobs anymore, do these side hustles as jobs. They won't be able to do these, you know, the gig economy is oversaturated. A lot of these jobs in the gig economy are also being done by people from people who move to the United States. So, you know, they're more than happy to take these jobs, even if these jobs are paying, even if they're only making $5 or $10 an hour, they're still going to do these jobs because there's nothing else better than this for them. Because they're not paying. A lot of them are like, you know, there's a tax situation with that, and they're sending this money overseas, so they're sending this money back to their country, so they really don't care. All right, so it's all just extra for them. So I'm very happy about this, and of course, a lot of people who won't have access to these jobs anymore, a lot of Americans who won't have access to these gig economy jobs anymore, they won't be able to feed themselves. If they have families and they're trying to live off this, won't be able to feed their families. It's going to be hard for these. It's going to be hard. And I just say, suck it up, Buttercup. Suck it up, Buttercup. You know, I don't feel for you. I am not crying for you. You know, You're an adult. You're going to have to figure it out like the rest of us. Like I said, if you say you're going to come and poop in Angry's yard, be ready. Be ready, all right? Because I will have a security company. I'm not playing around with you. I'm not playing around with squatters. Oh, no. I will have a security company. There will be alarms everywhere. There will be cameras everywhere. Everywhere. Okay? You step foot onto that property and think that you're going to have your way. Be very, very careful because you don't know security is driving around in that neighborhood. Security is driving around in that neighborhood. They'll be there in 2 to 3 minutes. A lot of these people, they'll be here. They'll be there. Security company will be there within minutes. They'll be there way before the cops will get there. Way before the cops would get there, okay? All right? So you think you're gonna poop in my yard? You're gonna go do your business in my yard because you're angry that you can't afford things anymore because you didn't want to adapt to technology. You know what companies are doing right now? They're getting everyone to learn how to use AI. And what they're ultimately going to do is get rid of a lot of those jobs that other people are doing. Okay? So those luxurious 9-to-5 jobs will be gone soon. They will be gone very, very soon. There's an article right now out from the chief technical officer of OpenAI. That's the person that's the company that makes ChatGPT. And OpenAI chief technical officer says AI could eliminate some creative jobs that maybe shouldn't exist anyway. So is generative AI a tool for creative empowerment and efficiency or a threat to a swath of creative professionals? OpenAI's CTO, so Chief Technical Officer Mira Murati, isn't worried about such potential negative impacts, suggesting during a talk this month that if AI does eliminate some creative jobs, those jobs were maybe always a bit replaceable anyway. I think it's really going to be a collaborative tool, especially in the creative spaces. Murati told Dartmouth University trustee Jeffrey Blackburn during a conversation about AI hosted at the university's engineering department. Some creative jobs maybe will go away, but maybe they shouldn't have been there in the first place, like graphic designers, video editors, a lot of these people. The CTO said of AI's role in the workplace, I really believe that using it as a tool for educating and creativity will expand our intelligence. It's going to make people dumber. But people like me who have to work hard and constantly learn this technology and even build their own AI models, we're going to blow past everyone else because we have to survive. All right? We have to work hard so we can survive. During the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity this week, Murati predicted during another talk that the future will involve a collaboration between humans and AI. In her view, AI will largely become a tool for continued human work. Since OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public, fears that different types of generative AI could take or eliminate jobs have swirled across a range of industries. OpenAI has been pushing its text-to-video Sora tool to Hollywood. Game developers, writers, and voice actors have also expressed anger and frustration over generative AI tools and voices that could take their jobs as companies like Microsoft and Electronic Arts embrace AI. EA is a very evil company. But guys, just imagine when generative AI becomes a part of the Unreal Engine and you can start generating entire worlds like Grand Theft Auto seamlessly and creating different models and characters that are alive. Guys, here's the thing about the next GTA. The next GTA is going to be very, very woke. It's going to be very, very woke. It cost them like $2 billion to make this thing. What happens when some dude chilling in a basement, some cat in a basement, bro, in a basement, starts using generative AI with the Unreal Engine or something he even creates himself and creates something more powerful that blows GTA 6 away, and it's way better, and it only cost him like a couple $100 maybe, like, to make the stamp, to start making it. One man created the whole damn thing, and the game blows GTA 6 away, and that whole woke garbage that they're putting in it and DEI. it's going to start toppling the gaming industry. The same gaming industry that's firing everyone that right now, they're in for an awakening. Because as these tools become available, you'll have smaller individuals, even people who lost their jobs at these companies that were there for years, that are going to turn around, use these tools, and they're going to create these games and these environments and these models that these companies took years to make and are absolutely crap, and a lot of them are crappy. And they're going to create these, they're going to create them, and they're going to sell them, you know, for the same amount or less. A lot of times less, because they don't have the same overhead costs. So they're going to be less greedy eventually, you know. And, you know, imagine being able to pick up, a game that blows GTA away, GTA 6 away. Absolutely beautiful. Graphics are even better. It's a world. You have an entire world to explore. You can interact with characters in very different ways. They're constantly upgrading it, constantly improving on it. And yeah, that's it. And it's cheaper or even free to play. Or you can go play woke GTA. What are you going to do? Everyone's going to play this other game. They're going to play it. They're going to enjoy it. And the companies like Rockstar are going to go belly down. It's going to be, guys, it's going to be hilarious. And I am absolutely all for it. I'm absolutely all for it. You know, many of you guys see what I'm doing right now. You see what I'm doing with my thumbnails. All right. You see what my thumbnails look like. Like, I'm creating some sick designs using AI. Sick designs. Like, guys, how much do you think it would cost to create some of these designs that I've made? Like, I'm literally asking you, how much do you think it would cost? It would be extremely expensive. Extremely expensive to have someone creating these things for me. And now I can just have this generated instantly. I can have these things generated instantly by just putting in the requirements and saying, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want. And boom. You know? I mean, look at this. Look at this image that I created. All right? Of a guy chilling on the couch instead of going out and going on a date, relaxing on the couch. Look at this, created using generative AI. It's good enough. It's good enough, you know? And you can do different art styles, visual styles, hyper realistic. Like, look at little Pancho. Look at little Pancho. You know? Or Mr. Sancho. Guys, this technology is no joke. And it's going to replace a lot of these jobs, and I am all for it. At least there's going to no more jobs for these losers. Losers. All right? Always demanding tips. All right? Expecting tips. Losers. They won't have jobs anymore, and they think they're going to go on a rampage, but they're going to get, you know, this is the mess around, find out. Mess around, find out. A lot of them are going to end up incarcerated. They're not going to, and, you know, eventually they're not going to have a good time. Gen Z will have a good time, but, you know, it's going to be hard. Eventually, you know, it's going to be back and forth. And what I really predict is so many of these people are going to end up in prison, that the prison conditions are going to be very grim for a lot of them. And that's where things are going to get bad. But I could care less, because I'm working hard, guys. You see how hard I work. Like, I grind, I work every single day. I go to sleep, and then I wake up and I start working immediately after I wake up. And even though I should be taking more time to just relax, I'm grinding. Okay? I'm grinding like the ants were grinding before winter arrived, while the grasshopper was just out, or cricket, whatever the hell that thing was out there chilling and having a good time. All right? These Gen Zer was out there having a good time, and then winter arrived, and he realized that, like, bro, I can't eat. You know, I'm not going to be able to eat. I can't feed myself. And, you know, in the original story, one of the stories, because there are variations, he basically told the ants, I think it were ants, he's like, listen, y'all, either you're going to have to feed me, or, you know, I'm going to have to, you know, I'm a cricket, or I'm a grasshopper, and, you know, y'all are edible too. And that they really didn't have a choice, and they ended up with, like, not having a choice in that matter. But you know, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, and even then, like, he doesn't really know if like they would have like they could have like launched they could have basically have a, you know, their ants, so they could have had probably had an army. Like, okay, bro, it's one of you. You're like a starving grasshopper versus us, you know, starving cricket versus us. Like, maybe you should try it. Like, they took pity on him. A lot of people aren't going to take pity on these Gen Zers. Their parents, maybe, not me. Not society, especially how society feels about them already, and the perception of them is getting worse. And they'll just cry victim, like, good luck with that, kid. No one is crying for you. Maybe your parents, and even your parents know you suck. Their parents know that they're losers. Their parents 100% know they're losers. There's a video that I dropped where I talked about the fact that some Gen Zer actually Control-Alt-deleted his mom. She was like 43 years old. She was a assistant vice president at Loyola University. This guy went to college. He was 20 years old. He's 20 years old. He went to college for like 10 days and then dropped out. He's a NEET, not in employment, education, or training. His mom basically gave him an eviction notice, which was a stipulation that he would clean his room, help keep the house clean, and go look for a full-time job because he wasn't in school. And as a result of that, he Control-Alt-deleted her. And then he has a bunch of mental health issues. He was institutionalized like twice, evidently. And then he went before a judge and told the judge that he wanted to represent himself because the only person who could explain what happened and why it happened is him. And the judge was like, I'm not having any of that, you know. And he actually ended up appointing an attorney because he's like, I'm not going to let you be in here just ranting and raving like a lunatic, you know, for like a month or two. So that's the situation with that. But yeah, it's just crazy. These losers aren't gonna have work anymore. These losers are not gonna have these jobs anymore. And I'm all for it. Let me know what you guys think regarding all of this. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers, guys. Don't forget to check out my newsletter, where I share my personal thoughts and insights. There's a link to a description of the video. And also join the Angry community for exclusive content, videos, guides, even more. AngryGalaxy.com. That's our locals community. Go check it out. Subscribe. Get in early while the price is good. Cheers.